Let's go. Are we actually on? You're here listening with Kayla
and Georgia,
bringing you real, raw, and relatable chats on the Evolve to Thrive podcast.
Stay tuned because shit's about to get juicy as we dive into all things health, fitness, life, and relationships.
Let's go. Woo. On today's episode, we are thrilled to introduce Vanessa Panella, the founder of DVP Fitness. Vanessa is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to the online coaching space and particularly helping busy mums with their nutrition, their training, and their mindset. So we have specifically brought Vanessa on today to discuss the ins and outs of training and nutrition during pregnancy. And ironically, Vanessa is actually pregnant right now, along with her beautiful daughter, Manali. Oh my God.
Melania.
And she is expecting another bundle of joy. So we thought that she'd be the perfect guest to have on to explore this topic of pre and postnatal considerations for the mamas to be and the mamas out there. So without further ado, let's bring her on in.
Welcome.
Thanks, guys. I'm so glad to be here.
We're excited to have you.
I am so sorry for pronouncing your daughter's name wrong.
Oh, no, that's right. Everyone does it. We get all different variations. So she's used to it and she actually answers. And I'm like, but that's not your name.
And you were saying her name a couple of times beforehand.
I was literally saying it 3 times beforehand and then I completely butchered it.
Bless.
My bad.
How are you? How's your week been?
Oh, good. I'm actually was just saying to Kayla before we started, probably the last 6 weeks, I'm 26 weeks pregnant now. The last 6 weeks has definitely been more enjoyable than the first 20.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. And you were saying before that this pregnancy is a lot worse than your first pregnancy?
Yeah. In terms of for the first 14 weeks, I was vomiting every hour to 2 hours.
Jesus.
I could not keep any food down, couldn't keep water down. I had a cervix bleed very early on in the pregnancy, so we had a bit of a scare. And I was quite bedridden, quite debilitated.
And how long would that last?
All day and all night.
It's really
selling pregnancy for us.
I was going to say it's interesting and I really would love to, unpack this with you later on. We may as well just get into it now. Like the suffering that women go through when they actually experience morning sickness, because a lot of people, just assume, oh yeah, it's morning sickness. This is normal and this lasts for 2 hours of the day, but that's absolutely not the case, is it?
It's different for everyone, I think.
Yeah. Each differs. Like with Melania, I'd wake up feeling unwell and I'd vomit that once and then I'd be able to carry on with the rest of my day. I was extremely exhausted with Melania because at the time I was driving on the road for 3 hours a day, driving to and from work, working full time. So I was driving from where I live now to Kew, which is an hour and a half up and an hour and a half to 2 hours back every day. And it was a very, very, very quite a senior role, so it was quite full on. And then so I was a little bit more tired with Melania, but it was manageable. Whereas with this one, it was just like physically being debilitated was very tolling, not only physically, but mentally as well. Like I was scared, very scared.
Is there a reason why like sometimes second pregnancies are a lot worse, or is it based on gender or?
Well, not really. I think that, and this is what I was saying to Kayla before, is that you say, oh, I'm unwell, and it really gets brushed off as, oh, well, you're pregnant.
Yeah.
And even like my obstetrician's fantastic, my doctor's fantastic, but they're like, there's not much really we can do except keep handing you drugs to be able to deal with it. And it got so bad to the point where they wanted to put me on steroids to help me manage it, which I couldn't put anything more in my body. I was on 12 tablets a day just to be able to keep any food down. I was really, 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 my body was under a lot of stress. That's why my cervix started bleeding. And it was just, very, very, very hard time mentally as well. You start to fear, but you also start to get to a point where you're like, I physically can't do this anymore. I can't carry like this.
Yeah.
You even said that you got to the point where your husband questioned, like, I don't know if we can continue this.
Yeah, you can go on like this. And that was a morning my cervix started bleeding because my cervix was bleeding. I'm vomiting at the same time. So I'm bleeding, I'm vomiting, and I'm on the phone to the OB having an absolute breakdown. And, it got to the point where I said to my OB, they're like, can you get in the car and get here? And I'm like, I physically couldn't even get in the car because I was vomiting that much and so sick that I just felt like I physically felt like there was something really, really wrong. But the whole time, baby's thriving, mum's dying, and I'm like, fuck.
Swimming around there, having a good time.
So it was hard, and my husband was a great support during it. Like, I think as well for me, having another child made it even worse because you're literally laying in bed every night going, I physically am debilitated and my child is watching this. I can't even be there and she's in grade prep. I can't turn up to her school events. I can't turn up to this. I can't turn up to that. And you feel like you're letting your other child down. And it got to the point where some mornings I was like, all right, now that's it. I'm going to wake up. I'm going to take her to school. I'd physically wake up, take 2 steps. My husband's like, are you okay? And I would just cry. I cried so much, and it takes a lot for me to cry. I'm not very big on crying a lot, and it takes a lot. I was broken. And he's like, no, you go back to bed. You've got her whole life to take her to school. You don't need to take her to school right now. I'm taking her to school. What for? What are you putting pressure on yourself for? And as I was saying, like when I shared this story on socials, I had so many mums reach out to me who are currently pregnant, and they're like, oh my God, I can't even tell you, like, thank you so much. I'm going through exactly the same thing. And what came to my realization is it actually gets that the morning sickness is sort of brushed off like, oh, well, you're pregnant.
But it's a lot more common.
It is. Yeah, it's a lot more common. But I feel from a mental support perspective, that's where our community needs to do a lot more work.
Yeah.
I think it's hard for people that haven't been pregnant, obviously. Like even for me, I've done that to people where I've just like you hear people saying, oh, I feel sick or I've got morning sickness. I've never been pregnant. So it's just easy for me not to dismiss it, but just not understand how you're actually feeling.
Yeah.
Not being able to relate to it.
Yeah.
Whereas someone like you who works with so many other women who are pregnant or have been pregnant, you're actually relatable to these people, and you are somebody who can create that community.
Yeah.
Which is exactly kind of what you're doing with the business that you have and the audience that you have grown as well, which is amazing because you're shedding light on a situation that needs more attention, right?
Yeah, it does. It definitely does. And it's a very similar experience to after you have your first child, how you feel. And it's a very lonely, dark place, which not many people talk about because people are so like, you should feel grateful that you've got a healthy baby and you should feel grateful that you carry. And that's why I always say like I do feel really grateful and do feel really blessed. It's just in the moment, it is really, really mentally and physically tough on your body. And same with after you have kids, whether it's your first or second, the first one in particular, because, you don't know what you're doing. It is a really lonely place. And it's something that not many women talk about because sometimes it gets frowned upon when you speak like that after you just had a healthy child or you've fallen pregnant easily. But I mean, no one knows how long people have been trying for. No one knows back end stories. So it's always just assume. And you are grateful. You'll always be grateful as a mother, but it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
This is called postnatal depression?
It doesn't necessarily mean to be medically diagnosed at postnatal depression. I mean, if you go to a GP and you say like, you sit there and cry and you're like, I'm struggling, straight away they'll tell you got postnatal. That's how easily diagnosed it is these days. It doesn't necessarily need to like
have a title to it or
have
a label.
A title to it. I think every mum and especially new mums struggle with finding you lose yourself. You lose yourself a lot after you have kids, and it is especially after your first one that I find because it's not what it's expected. Like, you think you have this kid, you put it in the pram, you're going to be coffee and brunching with the mums. You think it's all going to be like that. And sometimes it is where, let's catch up and the kids can play in the park, la-di-da-da-da, and we'll sit there and have our lattes. That's like 0.02% of the time after you have your kid.
Yeah.
So you're so sleep deprived. You are, your hormones are so out of whack. Then also as well, I mean, I know with a lot of clients that I come across, I can share this. My husband's traditional, yeah? So he's like, I've been working all day, hon. What's wrong? You're right. Yeah, what's wrong? I just haven't showered since yesterday. Do you reckon you're going to hold the baby while I shower? What do you mean you've been home all day?
Yeah.
I'm on that. I know I've been home because I've been having to breastfeed every 3 hours. You know that kid that I just had?
I just pushed out of my vagina.
Out of my vagina. Yeah, that one there. And I'm still torn open. That one there. Oh. What's for dinner, hun? And I'm like, fuck. Anyways, promise Sol's being going to be good. He's a good man. Okay.
We're only talking positive things on here.
Only. But I think that the highlight of that really is that I think a lot of women go into pregnancy with a lot of different expectations to what it actually is like.
Yeah.
My sister as well is a mum. She's a younger mum. Like, she's younger than me and she's got 2 kids. And witnessing that as an auntie is enough for me to say that is a big fucking job. It is a big commitment, and I have so much respect for any mum out there, because you women are fucking incredible at what you do. And
it's not an easy job.
It's not an easy job. So
yeah, 100%. It's not an easy job physically, but mostly mentally. That's where the battle sits.
How did you finally get through that point where you were just like so unwell? Was it the medication that was helping you, or were you just like, just keep pushing, just get through it? Or like, what made you through it? I
was really stubborn at the start, and I was like pushing back on my OB, and I was like, I'm not, obviously, because, you guys know, I'm sure everyone knows now that I work at Nutrition Capital. So I'm very passionate about natural supplementation, and I try and avoid any, unless I've got an infection or something that needs to be treated through antibiotics. So I was really, really against putting anything into my body from that perspective. However, my stubbornness led to a cervix bleed. And so I'm like, Vanessa, not even worth it. Like, take the medication. But then that medication, like, I know I was on a heavy dose of Ordansetron, which is the main one they give you to stop you from vomiting, alongside like 6 other tablets. It did take the edge off, but it didn't fully take it away. But it led to other issues, like Ordansetron makes you quite constipated. So then you've got to, and it can't just be fixed with fiber intake. You've got to take something other stuff to counteract that. And it was just messy. So the minute that I started to feel a little bit more on my feet, I just weaned myself off it, and really focused on trying to build up my appetite again, because I could barely eat.
That's what I was going to say. What strategies or tips do you have for women that do experience like pretty chronic morning sickness?
Don't be stubborn like me and take the Ordansetron if you responded to it. I also had an Ordansetron infusion, which helped.
Yeah.
That helped a lot. So that was another option. But listen to your OB, because their experience, I guess the thing that did really help was, this is going to sound really, really weird, but it was winter, it was freezing in my first trimester, but I just felt like getting fresh air in my face every day. So really pushing myself to get up and go for a walk every day really, really helped me. And also as well, I was living on the hydrolyzed Isopol sticks.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it was the mental battle, getting through every day, still having to work and run a business, and still having to be a mum and run a household. was harder than physically feeling unwell.
That's what I was going to say. What were you doing how were you running your business? Like, how are you running DVP? I know you've got a number of staff who work for you. You've got Audrey, and I know you've got somebody else.
Sonia, yeah.
Yeah, so were they pretty much just handling the whole thing while you were debilitated?
Sonia hadn't started with us as yet when I was quite unwell. She sort of started halfway through. Audrey was my rock and has been with the business now for a year and a half and knows it inside out. So she pretty much took the main reins. However, I did feel like working took my mind off it.
Yeah, for sure.
And at the end of the day, like, I know this is really sad because people are like, oh my God, is she serious? Does she really love to work that much? My clients make me really proud and happy. I'm not going to cry because I said I wasn't going to cry, guys. I'm not
Don't cry because then that's going to make me cry.
I know. So listening to their wins made me get through every day.
When you've got a passion like that though, it's not work. And we say this all the time, like when you find a job that you're that passionate about that it doesn't feel like work, like that's the role that you should be in. So for you to be able to say, you know what, I actually want to work because this is what makes me feel good, like that's great.
And you're also having a massive impact on their life as well. You know what I mean? Like when you're having that much of an impact on someone's life, it makes you feel good.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's what was getting me through every day. And we're always so busy. There's no slowing down. And it was like when I announced my pregnancy, we got even busier.
Yeah.
And I thought it was going to be the opposite, you know, but we got even busier. And it was just, phenomenal how the team pulled together, and phenomenal, like, if I had to swap things around with my clients, like check-ins and stuff like that, they were really understanding because they're mums.
Yeah.
But most of the time it was just like I just enjoy doing what I do so much. And honestly, my clients like wins and dedication and perseverance and commitment to investing in themselves is what got me through that 14 weeks.
Yeah. And I think, and that's so nice to hear. I think the biggest thing as well is that like your people are there to follow your journey as well. And people love, I think, following your journey and knowing that like they're not alone. So when they're having their own hardships, like to be able to see that you are also, as sad as that sounds, but you are going through like,
you're not alone.
You're not alone. Yeah. And then they almost feel like, oh, Vanessa gets me because she's going through something similar.
Yeah.
Which really helps. So I think you're definitely an inspiration when it comes to working with women and helping other women that are busy moms, because you live and breathe it. And, you know, they've got someone who knows the ins and outs, has experienced it themselves. Like, you're so relatable, which is amazing.
Yeah. And I think having the right circle of people around you, like outside of work and whatever, is really important. I'm really fortunate enough I'm really close with my mum, except she's recently purchased a house in Dramana and seems to be there all the time. It's like really
fuming,
getting on my nerves now. I'm so sick of her saying, "Oh, I'm just in Dramana." Yeah, Ma, I need you back. You know it. Yep, so yeah, I'm really fortunate to be able to I'm really close with my mum. She's my best friend, so like to have her on call. But two of my best friends are pregnant as well.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And I just leaned on them. I have a really close group of girlfriends. There's 9 of us. We've grown up together since we were 2, and we're like, people are like, how do you fit into that group? Because you're very different. I'm very, very over the top, and they're very like normal people. But I've never had an argument with any of them. We are all mums, except for one of the girls, but she's like literally like that person that when I sometimes need a break, I would be like, I'm coming to stay at your house with my child. Is that all good? I did lose her cat once. She wasn't happy with me. Yeah. She's like, don't leave the door open because the cat will run out. I'm like, got it, girlfriend. 2 seconds later, I was like, fuck, I've lost your cat.
Oh,
it took me
Jesus.
an hour and a half to find the cat. But my group of girlfriends are really supportive. They're not judgmental either. So I literally can say anything. When I was going through the first 14 weeks on that walk that I was pushing myself to do, my best friend, who is, I think she's like 5 or 6 weeks ahead of me with her pregnancy, was getting me through.
I was going to say, so going through that 14 weeks where you were so sick, having that support network and also having other, like your friends also kind of being pregnant and things, that is what helped you get through it.
Even something I was thinking before, like when you're saying how debilitated you were, how important it is to choose the right partner as well, or have a supportive partner, like just through a time like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing is my husband's worked really hard to, I'm not going to cry again. And my husband's worked really hard and come a long way to be, and worked on himself a lot, to understand more about what it's like to have depression and what it's like to have anxiety and what it's like to feel alone. He's worked really hard to understand that, and he's gone to great lengths, which I don't think any female who's married to a traditional Italian man would be like, no way he did that. I'm like, yeah, he did. He he went to therapy with me when I needed him to. He's been with me, so we've been together since I was 13.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So he is literally, we are each other's one and only, like to the point where we've both got that tattooed on us. Like, don't.
I love
That's
that.
so sweet.
That makes my heart feel warm.
So, but he's worked really hard, especially the last 2 years. I wouldn't say he's changed, he's evolved.
Yeah.
He's evolved to be a better husband and a better man. And he isn't dismissive of my feelings, even though, like, just on the way here, I went batshit crazy at him.
But he's understanding. It's fine.
He's
He gets it.
understanding. Yeah, he's understanding. And I think also having a girl,
Yeah.
having Melania has, like, made him more
Soft.
soft, made him more emotionally aware.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
beautiful.
amazing. Yeah, I really love that. I reckon on the note, you did just touch on your journey of like him becoming more understanding of anxiety and depression and things like that. Is there anything that you want to tap into about your own health and fitness journey? Because I reckon we tap into a little bit more about your health and fitness journey and then how, DVP evolved and how it come to be. And then we can get into the nitty gritty of training and nutrition in pregnancy.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a tough one for me to start, but let's go. So,
Like, how did you get into health and fitness?
it actually started like hidden started. I don't even know the right word, right? But you guys will get it. So, I got into this because I had I had anorexia. But it was unintentional. It was diagnosed as unintentional. I wasn't not eating because I wanted to be skinny. I'm, my mum and dad are Calabrian and Sicilian. So I grew up religiously at my nonna's every week, eating really, really simple carbohydrate meals. And I was not a size 6. I was not a small unit. And as I grew older, got my license, I was doing the Macca's runs like we all do when we're that young. And I piled on a lot of weight throughout high school and my first year of uni. And I was, ordering pretty much 3-4 dress sizes bigger than what I am now, and I'm pregnant. And then I had a very traumatizing situation happen when I was younger, but I was so little when these events occurred for years that at the time I couldn't understand it. But unfortunately, our justice system didn't serve at the time. So the amount of court proceedings and things that went on went all the way up to the age, I was like 18 or nearly 19 when this all sort of came to an end. But by that age, I started realizing what had happened to me. And it started unfolding. The memories started to come back. And I was diagnosed with PTSD, and I had been on Zoloft medication since I was like 13. And I was on quite a high dose. You know, I remember having my first panic attack and my mum thought I was choking. So again, my parents are traditional Italians. They don't understand that at that time, didn't understand mental health, what a panic attack looked like. They thought I was choking on like food.
They're like no joke either, those panic attacks. Like,
yeah. And those panic attacks were getting worse and worse and worse. And as time went on, and I just struggled a lot. I was on antidepressants for a really long time. And I didn't know any other way out. So just to give you an example, every time we'd go back to the therapist and the doctor, they'd be like, how are you feeling? I'd be like, horrible. I was still on Zoloft. They're like, yep, up the dosage, up the dosage, up the dosage, up the dosage.
And your therapist is doing this as well?
This is what was happening. Yeah, because they don't know any other way. And yeah, you're doing counselling, but sometimes I'm like, I don't know. For me, at the time, it wasn't working because I was that traumatized. So the only way I could feel in control of the situation was to control my body. And that's exactly what I did. And I got so severely unwell and anorexic, and that led to gut problems. People will see in some of my photos, I've got some scars. They think that's because I had a cesarean with Melania. I didn't have a cesarean. I had a natural birth, but those scars is because I had to have operations on my stomach to fix the trauma. So I spent 6 months being rehabilitated with a gut specialist and a gut therapist, where the therapist actually works from your mind to your body. Just hit the microphone. But also as well, I realized that I needed to do something for myself to get me off the antidepressants. And that's when I started to find movement. Movement was helping me. But I needed to eat. I needed to eat. And I knew it, but physically eating made me sick. And feel out of control.
Do you think the medication had a part to play in that?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it did, but I'd forced myself off. After being on Zoloft for 16 years, I forced myself off it. 16 years. Yep, on antidepressants.
So Zoloft is an antidepressant?
Yeah.
Wow.
I came off it. I think I came off it not long after I got married, and then I was going on and off it.
Were you weaning yourself off, or did you just go like cold turkey with it?
I tried to wean off when I was younger, and it didn't work because I was having really bad panic attacks, and they were happening at school as well, like, you know, in front of everybody in bathrooms and stuff, and at dancing. That's where my group of friends, that's where I met them. And no one really knew what had happened, why I was so messed up. And because I wasn't, how do you share a story that you don't even know? You're in your head, you're piecing it together because
you went through that much trauma that you've forgotten it, or
yeah.
Or you probably just, you weren't at an age to understand exactly what you go. So how do you articulate something you don't understand yourself?
And also as well, again, you know, my mum and dad are the best, but they're traditional. So you're like, Ma, what happened to me? And she's like, don't worry, honey, we got it sorted out.
Okay, so your parents knew?
Yeah, absolutely. My parents, it came to light. And my mum was pregnant with my little brother when it all came out. And my little brother was born at 28 weeks. And I know it was because my mum was stressed.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a lot of things that came out. So in turn, cut a long story short, I'm pretty sure everyone can filter through what happened. I found movement and nutrition became my form of therapy, became my antidepressant, and it got me off it. It got me off them and helped me get on that. However, when I started on the journey, I had the battles of going from one yo-yo diet to another yo-yo diet.
Of course.
And there's the, you know, what happens to everybody. And then got through that, had Melania. I was in a really like quite a healthy place when I had Melania. I was in a good place. Had Melania, and then I found out I was having a girl, and I was okay. Then I had a girl, and the fear came back. Like, and then I started to fear for her.
Yeah.
If I had a boy first, I don't think I would have feared, because I'm not fearing now for him. I feared for her.
Yeah.
And
that probably would have come anyway. Like, even if she was the second, third, fourth child, that I feel like that naturally comes as being a parent, and then obviously with everything else on top of that.
And then on top of that, losing myself. Like, I lost myself after I was pregnant, because it wasn't what people said it was. It wasn't, going for cups of coffee with your mates and stuff like that. It was very different.
So you felt very alone when you had Melania?
Yeah, it was a lonely journey, because you're up every 2-3 hours breastfeeding, or even if you're not breastfeeding, you're doing the bottle.
Yeah.
But I breastfed Melania for 14 months, and she refused to take a bottle, the little shit. Right? And so she was attached to me 24/7. Yeah. And then also Daniel being quite traditional and not as understanding as he is now at the time was hard, very hard.
Yeah. What advice do you have for somebody who is maybe they're pregnant now and it's their first child and they don't know what to expect for their first pregnancy, of like what kind of, you said that your expectations were different to what you thought. What advice do you have for them having their first child? What should they be aware of?
That it does get better. It's okay, but only you can fix it. And that was the other thing, was I was getting frustrated at Daniel, and I'm like, well, fix me. I'm broken here. I'm a bit like so emotionally a wreck, and I was like looking for him to fix it. But you got to understand, like, and this is something that I've had to work on. You can't expect your partner to understand what you're going through, even though you wish they could, because at the time in their head, they're like, well, I'm going to work every day and I'm providing for you. And then you're coming home and you're crying and asking me to hold the baby just so you can shower. And I used to say this to him, but I'm human. I'm a human. I need to shower. I'm a human. I'm not asking for much. But never once did I say to him, thanks for going for work to provide for us. As much as I hate that, right? I never once said thank you. I never. So how do I expect him to come home and be like, oh, thanks for staying home with, and being up every 3 hours. Yeah. So it works both ways.
It's like communication,
Absolutely.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And just kind of having that transparency of like, okay, you're doing this, I'm doing that. I'm thankful for this. You're doing this for me, but I'm doing that for you. And
yeah. So that's pretty much how I fell into it. And then after I had Melania, I lost myself a lot. And I put on a lot of weight. I put on 28 kilos.
After?
I put on 22 with Melania.
Like being pregnant?
Yep. And I lost 28 after.
Yeah.
Wow.
What did you do after the pregnancy to drop that much weight? So a lot of people are, want to get into their health and fitness again post-baby. And that's probably the field of work that you spend a lot of time in, is helping a lot of women get, back into their health and fitness post-baby. So how do you help women do all of that?
How do I help women and this is a little bit about how DVP was like actually
let's get into
fruition.
that. Yeah.
Because what I preach and teach in our programs is purely based off my own experience. So I did go through a really big phase of like really struggling to find myself again and who I was as a person, because you're like, who the fuck am I?
Yeah.
You're literally like, I don't even know who I am as a person even more. So I had to spend a little bit of time discovering that again, but I did that through movement and nutrition. I feel like that at the time I had these unrealistic expectations where I'm like, right, I've got to train 5 days a week. I've got to eat minimal calories, blah, 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 blah. I went through a little bit of that again until I discovered that, no, this isn't sustainable with a kid. Can't keep going like this with a kid. So I started slow. I started 2-3 days a week, half an hour in the house with a mat and these little Kmart dumbbells, right? And these little Kmart dumbbells. And I used to say to myself, right, I'm not comparing, but I will. And everyone's going to laugh at this. So, when Arnold Schwarzenegger, all he had was 2 dumbbells. 2 dumbbells. He started with 2 dumbbells. I used to say to myself, the 2 dumbbells, that does work. I work for Arnie. It's going to work for me.
Did you do home workouts purely because it was easier at home with a child?
I didn't have a gym set up or anything at that time. And it was just easier because I put Melania in the rocker or she'd crawl around me and she'd be part of it. So if you say to Melania, describe your mum, or what does your mum love doing, she will actually say to you exercising, because from the day she was born, she does not know any different.
I love that.
She doesn't know any different. She thinks
she's going to naturally want to be a part of that too.
Well, she assumes that's what every mum does because she doesn't know any different.
Yeah.
So she was with me every time I trained, and I trained inside the house with a mat until I started building at Daniel always had a little setup, and still I started nestling myself in there, and then I've somehow created this monster gym at my house. Now that's my own. To the point where right now, like, I have a rocker set up for this baby because this baby, I can't train without it.
Yeah.
So everything I did was at home, and then I started really, really exploring nutrition a little bit more. And
Did you have a coach at this point?
Yes, I didn't to start with. And then I went into the comparison game on Instagram.
We all fall for it.
And I found my first coaches, and I was with them for 4 years. And then I went through another really rough patch where I went back on antidepressants for a little bit. And 12 weeks on being on the antidepressants, I said to myself, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Had you started DVP at this point?
No.
Okay.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Putting yourself back on these when you know your best therapy is looking after you physically, through movement, and nutritionally, fueling your body correctly. And I'll never forget the Friday morning I woke up and I said, it's time for me to take care of me for good. And I rang a friend who works with Belle, and I begged him, Daniel, please get me in with Belle. I'm still yet to find, I don't feel strong. I feel weak. I feel vulnerable. I started fearing with Melania because she was growing up and going into kinder. And I'm like, what if someone touches her? What if someone steals her? And I started to feel like I couldn't defend myself. But I was also as well got really sick and skinny again because I couldn't eat because my gut was suffering. And I'm like, I need to be able to have the strength to protect myself and my daughter. And I need a beast of a woman who believes in herself to invest that in me.
Yeah.
And that's when I on to Belle, which is, I know a lot of people say, how did you find Belle and why Belle? That's the reason why, because she's a powerhouse and I needed her to instill that in me. I had started DVP before I did start with Belle. And I was busy from 12 weeks in, because I do have the ability to sympathize and empathize with other mothers because I've been through a shit fight.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, you have. So is that your main reasoning for starting DVP? Do you mainly work with just women that are pregnant, or is it
a
mix?
It is a mix. I mean, having Audrey on board has brought in a little bit of a different market, a younger market, but 99% of my clients are mums.
Yeah.
And I've got like a group of mums who are still breastfeeding. I've got mums that are pregnant, and I've got we have a lot of success on the program with people who struggle to get pregnant, and then we get them to a good spot, and then
They fall pregnant.
12
I love
weeks
that.
in, they fall pregnant.
I love that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we
Let's-
have a lot of success with that.
Let's tap into that a little bit actually, because
that's quite common.
It's becoming more and more common for people to require IVF and treatments like that
Yeah.
to fall pregnant. Do you think that there's a way that people can potentially not require that in order to fall pregnant purely just by investing into their, their
nutrition.
health?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you ask my husband that question, he's like, you just got to practice more. I'm like,
Of course.
just don't suffocate yourself somewhere in the bed. Yes, there is a lot of the times, and it's especially more so than ever since I announced I'm pregnant, this market's gotten a lot bigger for me, where I've had a lot of people come to me and they're like, over 100 kilos, and they're like, the doctor said, or the GP said, or the OB said, specialist said, I'm not being able to fall pregnant because I'm so overweight, and I'm unhealthy and I can't carry, I'm infertile or whatsoever. I want to try this path and see if I can get pregnant. And most of the time we have great success. And as well, like,
Why do you think that is? What is
Yeah,
it?
what is it?
What is it that you're changing or helping them develop? Like, how are you changing their lifestyle to be able to put them in a position where they can fall pregnant?
Or is there something that you're noticing with the women that can't fall pregnant? Is there something in common that they all have?
yeah, they've got irregulation with their cycles, or they've been on, the pill for so long of their lives, and they've come off it to try and fall pregnant, and their hormones are so out of whack, and they don't realize the power that nutrition has and can play into that.
Yep.
So there's so many different facets and factors that we work on with our clients to make sure their bodies are being fueled correctly, but also as well, a lot of the times, like these women have not seen a cycle for over 12 months, whether they're on the pill or have come off it 12 months ago and their cycle's still not returned. And it's because nutritionally they're not fueling their bodies correctly. And we are not a business that just works on here are your calories, here are your macros, when we go and fill it with whatever you want.
Yeah.
We break it down to your macros and micronutrients, the difference between simple carbohydrates and complex carbohydrates. There's so many different things that we look at for every single one of our clients' individual needs.
Yeah.
But yeah, usually what happens is they start to say, like 8-9 weeks in, yes, got my period.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit, yes. And I always get so jealous because right now I look at my tampons. I'm like, I can't wait to use you.
That's the feeling I had coming out of comp too. I was like, I'm so happy I got my period.
Yeah,
That's
so
literally me
excited.
too.
Yeah, to have my period. And like, this got my period. I'm like, I haven't seen my period in ages. And I'm like, you're so happy right now. Yeah, you wait in 3 months, Sally. You ain't going to be celebrating that. Right? Yeah. And then that's how it starts. A couple of months later, still on the program. Yes, I haven't got my period. Yes, Sally. I'm just using Sally as like an abbreviation because everyone does that. Sally, you done a pregnancy test? You reckon? How active have you been? I've been feeling pretty confident, Vanessa. Good. That's what we like.
That's what we want to hear.
That is actually my trick to get your husbands to support you. Like, when you start to feel more confident, the husbands love it because you put out a lot more there. Right? Anyways, and I said, all right, do pregnancy test. Let me know straight away. All right. And then I end up finding out before they tell their husbands.
Yeah.
Right? And they're like, don't say anything. Oh, Sally, I'm not going to call your husband Roger and tell him, guess what?
Your wife's pregnant.
You knocked your wife up. No. So it's really good. Like this week too, like I've had 2 clients successfully, we had exact that story. Like they're like, Vanessa, I haven't got my period. I'm like, go and take a pregnancy test right now.
Yeah.
And buy the double pack, right? We just want to make sure.
Just a triple check.
I love that. It sounds so exciting for you to be able to work with the people that you love working with because you definitely get it. Yeah. And like you're in the same situation right now, which makes it even more exciting, I think. Do you feel like the DVP brand is going to become more purely just women focused and pre and postnatal focused?
It is like we're female dominant. However, we do partner with a lot of gyms where we help them, aid them from a nutrition perspective. And we love taking on the males. Like, you know, they're really rewarding to work with as well. Find them a little bit more bland to work with, because I'm like, you know, I like to have a laugh and banter and stuff. And they're just like, yep. I'm like, yeah, so you're happy? You dropped 2 kilos? Yep. Okay. All right. Whereas with a female, it's like, yes.
There's more chat. There's more
chat. There's more excitement. And I actually see my clients think that we comfort them with what they're going through emotionally, but what they don't realize is that comforts us as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Because we're human. So yeah, there's a lot of things we're exploring. I can't say too much at the moment, but conversations have been had with the team and external business strategists about the next direction and what we're opening up to. I'd say, just to put it broadly, we are looking at things that cater more catered towards the family environment that we encourage.
Yeah.
I love that.
And changing the lifestyle for the individual and creating healthier habits and things like that. Like a lifestyle change for a family.
Yeah, we are very lifestyle based. Like, as I say to my coaches all the time, if you're doing a consultation call and your main thing going into that consultation call is that you just want another client, don't do the consult.
Yeah.
If you are on the phone and you're like, oh, I know I can change this person's life, invite them to the program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to work. I don't want my coaches working on the basis of client numbers. I want my clients to the point where we delete the numbers. Like, it's gotten to a point where I wouldn't even know on a daily basis, like, how many people are joining per week. I just know when I'm like, Audrey, have we had enough? She's like, no, Vanessa, stop. We can't take on any more. Everyone else on the wait list.
Yeah.
And then I do the same with Sonia. Sonia, do you feel you're at capacity? Vanessa, I'm done for this month.
Yeah.
Then we're like, all right, cool. But I'm not numbers focused. We try and aim to be more so we're doing this because we genuinely love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I say to my team, is that no one gets on a consultation call, no one takes on a client unless they know they're going to change lives.
Your clients will feel that as well. Like, they're not going to feel like they're just another number. They'll feel like you actually want to be there for them and improve their life.
Yeah.
Because I've had coaches previously where I've felt like just a number, and it's like, it's the worst experience. And you get a lot more longevity out of having an approach like that.
It's also a lot more rewarding working with those clients that you know you are making a difference to their life as well.
Yeah. And that's the thing. We are very personable with our clients. And I know that a lot of coaches go on about personable, but I don't get on the phone to my clients and say, you know, oh my God, you know, your weigh-in was amazing or your check-in was amazing. Like, the first question I ask is, tell me how you've been this week.
Yeah.
Tell me how you are.
Yeah.
Right? Because it starts in the mind, and especially for mums, it's all up here.
100%.
I can't do nothing. We can't get a result physically if up here is not good.
Yeah.
Right? That's where we got to start working on. And a lot of the time it is spent moving away from the all or nothing attitude and the fad diet. But when you dig deeper into it, there's a reason why they want a quick. Yeah. There's a reason why they want it. And a lot of the times the reason is because mums are so time.
Yeah.
We are extremely time poor. You always feel like you're in a rush.
Yeah.
So if you always feel like you're in a rush and you always feel like you're fucking drowning, you're going to look at everything in life that's the way that it needs to be. You're going to look at that quick fix like that. All right, well, I'm in a rush. That's what I need.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Really good point that you make, actually, because I think a lot of the time, even us as well, like just running a business and stuff, you do feel like you're just go 100 miles an hour all the time. And then it's like if you're not focusing on your mindset and you're not taking a moment to yourself to actually think, like, you need to really do that in order to figure out what you actually want.
Yeah.
100%.
And also I think as well, like you seem like you tap into the clients about what they actually, why they want what they want to, like tapping into their reason as to why they want to lose weight or whatever goal they have, for example.
Yeah.
Like, where is it stemming from? Like, what's,
like why do you want
like
that?
go deeper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. And this is the thing is like a lot of the consults, the clients will get on the phone and they'll be like, I put on all this weight because I went through, suffer from this and I'm on it. And the amount of pre-screening forms that I get, and I'm like, mate, these GPs just load people with antidepressants, and there's nothing wrong with that because sometimes you really do need the aid, yeah?
Yeah.
And I've
Only
been
if you
there.
really need it, though.
I've been there myself, yeah, but they're handing them out like fucking candy,
Yeah.
right? And, when I see these come through, I know that they're joining because of deeper issues. I know it. I can see it on their pre-screening form. They're on antidepressants for a reason. It stemmed from somewhere, whether the weight increase is stemmed from traumatic events or them going through a hard time and just feeling like they couldn't, prioritize it, or, they've had 3 kids in a row within the span of 5 years and haven't had an even chance to even breathe between the time they got to the next pregnancy, whatever it is. So, and I say to clients, it's okay and you're not alone, because I tell you what, God gives you what you can handle, and he gives you the hard times because that's what shapes you to be the person that you are, and that's what you learn from. You don't learn and develop from the easy times.
No.
You learn a lot more from when you struggle, and your struggles teach you the most.
It teaches you, it challenges you to actually realize what your true capabilities and what your true strength is, I think. But yeah.
And that's why I don't see, like, I guess as well, I don't really dwell on what happened in the past to me. I don't really dwell what happened in the past because it shaped me to be who I am.
That's why you're here today.
Yeah, it shaped me to be the person that I am. So I'm not thankful and grateful that I went through that, because it hurt so many people. My parents were, very, very distraught over it. So I'm their little girl. So it killed them, and it's instilled a fear into me that I don't think will ever be knocked out of me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I got to say it's made me one unstoppable fucking woman.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
But this is the thing, like this particular instance that you went through and this situation that you went through, it's giving you purpose now. Like you've now got a passion of helping other women, and that passion is so strong, and that purpose that you have for what you do now as a job is so strong that you literally are changing lives for so many other women purely based on your own story.
Yeah. And that's the answer to everything behind DVP Fitness. That's the answer to everything behind who Vanessa Panella is. So when you guys look at me on Instagram and you think I've got this nice flashy life, like, yep, my husband, he is good at spoiling me, right? But he's not. He's very easy to manipulate too, ladies. Like,
that's your tip of the week.
I'm like, that's my tip of the week. Just put it down a little bit more in the bedroom and they're very easy.
Put out and you can get what you want.
That's how I got pregnant so quickly. So it's people think that my world is perfect. It's been a rough journey mentally and physically to get to where I am. And I have a lot of people to thank who aided me. And I lost a lot of people on the way.
Yeah.
That comes with it. Comes with anything.
We thank you so much for actually coming on to share all of this in your personal journey, because I think as well, when you do have such a large audience and a following, people do just look at what they see online, and they don't have any idea of like the personal struggles that you've gone through. So we're really grateful that you have come on to share that today, because it's deep and it's really, really, really kind for you to share that with us.
Yeah,
it takes a lot of courage to do so as well.
No,
absolutely. And you're going to make other people feel not as alone as well.
Yeah. There's always people to help around you. It does just take a little to let it out. Like it's taken me this actually I've only started really opening up the last probably like 12 months. Yeah, because I hear other people's struggles, and I'm like, you're not alone. Listen to me, you're not alone.
Yeah.
In summary of like with coaching and with training and with nutrition and all of that, because there's a few questions that I did have. One of them being is, what do you think are the biggest challenges that you work with on the day-to-day? Like what are the most common problems you see with people as to why they're not necessarily getting the results that they want? And particularly for those who are mums.
Yeah, I think usually mums fall into an age group of anywhere between like 30 to like, 30 upwards. And I guess we've come from a culture where like, it was Weight Watchers, light and easy, a lot of quick fixes. Okay, that program's more affordable, so I'm going to go for that. And they define, like today I had 11 consultations back to back. And every second one was like, oh, I did this program and it was really successful. I lost 8 kilos or I lost 10 kilos. But now I've put it back on and I'm like, okay, what do you define as success? Because that's not successful. That program's not successful if you put the weight back on because you weren't educated. You didn't learn anything. So when you leave our programs, you should be your own expert and you should never have to pay another coach again. That's our goal. And that's, I think, the biggest battle is the quick fixes. Like they're so used to the quick fixes and so impatient. And then probably the second biggest one is the speed hump of being a mum, because you don't know what you're waking up to. Like you can put your kid to bed and they're like perfectly fine. Good night, mummy. Good night. 2 hours later, they're like, Mum, I'm going to vomit. Yeah. And you're up all night. And then all of a sudden your kid's got gastro or come down with a cold and you've got to, drop the other one off at school. You haven't had a chance to meal prep because you're planning on doing it that morning. And then it all gets too overwhelming. And then you're like, well, I stuffed up. So I might as well I feel like I've stuffed up. So I'll just let that be a spiral effect.
Yeah. Start again Monday.
It doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be that way. That's not life. That's not sustainable to be, thinking you're going to be 100% every day. Because guess what? I don't care whatever influencer out there says it out there. Put yourself first. Put yourself first. Guess what? When you become a mum, you don't put yourself first fucking ever again, because your children will come first. Always, 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 always. And as much as you want to say, I'm ready to put me first, hey, not going to happen. Yeah. It's not going to happen.
How can mums, like, when they want to meal prep and they've had a situation like that, what advice do you kind of give to them to, like, not find more time, but go about meal prepping or managing it better? Yeah.
Like quick options for mums that can be things that are on the go, and if they're in a rush and they need to still kind of pick a healthier alternative.
Yep. Keep it basic. No fancy meals. Yeah. Like I hate the kitchen. I've got a beautiful kitchen as well. Yeah. I hate it. I hate the kitchen. It gives me anxiety to spend more than half an hour in there.
I love it.
Oh my God, no. So Belle always says to me, do you want me to change your plan? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Don't change my plan, because then that gives me anxiety, because then I have to spend more time in the kitchen. But I'm Italian. I like tasty food, yeah? So things have to taste good. Keep it simple. No fancy dancing. Stop looking on Instagram for all these cool fake away burgers and all of that stuff. That's not going to work for you long term. You can't eat your fake away burger and your fake away souvlaki and Guzman and Gomez or whatever it is every day of your life. Keep it simple and stop trying to get skinny with salads, ladies. Carbohydrates are your friend. It's a female's main source of fuel, but just keep it simple, minimal ingredients and consistent.
Yeah.
People think they have to eat different meals every single day.
No.
Do you have $1,000 to spend at the supermarket every week? Because I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even we were saying before, like just those frozen veggies, just how convenient and easy they are.
Yeah, that was my tip, because we didn't get to the tips. Because, things that you can do on the go. A lot of people, whether you're a mum or you're not, I don't know, the clients I work with, they still struggle with time, right?
Everyone does.
Everyone struggles with time and everyone's busy, right? So those frozen veggie packets that are already like ready to go, you don't even have to cook that. You can literally just put it in with a microwave rice packet and stuff.
That's a thing. It's like convenience, like making it convenient for yourself. Everyone needs to eat breakfast, right? But they're like, I've got to drop off my kids. I've got to do that. Cool. Get a tub of YoPro, chop a banana in it, and eat it in the car on the way.
Yeah.
Like it's that simple to do it. Either way, and I always say this, ladies, you have to eat food, right? You have to physically eat. So just making the choice, make a different choice, right? And sometimes like, oh, it's convenient for me just to go through a drive-through. Well,
and
guess
get coffee.
But even McDonald's does have healthier options now that you can get. And I'm not saying go and drive through Macca's and ask for the salad every day. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying everything can be done. Everything can be achieved within moderation. The other biggest thing is sit your husband or your partner down if you do have one, and tell them, hun, listen, we need to come to a negotiation. I need 40 minutes every Sunday to just chop up the ingredients and get everything ready for the week, and let them know your goals and ask them to help you out during that time, whether it be keeping the kids entertained or whatever it is. So there's got to be a time where your husband or partner can help you surely for 40 minutes out of every week to get that done and get your supermarket shopping delivered.
Yeah.
Don't waste your time going to the supermarket, because that's the time you could be spending putting your food together.
Yeah, that's a
great
idea. Yep. And even maybe like meal prep companies or something like that for lunches.
I was working with one of the companies and they've unfortunately just decided to close their doors.
Explosive.
So yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
We won't talk about it.
And I'm really sad because he's fantastic to work with. So I'm in negotiations and working with, like, having chats with a couple of others, but I'm really fussy. Yeah, I actually have to try stuff for a really good period of time before I recommend it. I do have a recipe book on the DVP Fitness website that is actually got really quick, easy meals in it that are all family friendly as well. So getting your hands on things like that. But I hate even promoting it, because I'm like, I just actually want people to know how to structure their days.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Last question before we get into our rapid fire. What about obviously your approach is to not have to cook separately to your kids and your family, and trying to create good habits that your kids are going to instill as well, right? Because I get a lot of mums thinking that they need to cook a separate meal from what they're having with their family, and the truth is that they don't. So what are some of your stock staple recipes from your recipe book, as in not explaining all of them, but just types of meals that are really good for families?
Yeah, the lasagna, I'd say, is a big one that everyone loves. The souvlaki is another one, the taco bowl. The pizzas, we've got a number of pizzas. I love pizzas, so I keep putting them in there. And Audrey's like, Vanessa, slow down on the fucking pizza. I'm like, but I'm really good at making them. She's like, yeah, that's about it. Audrey,
Don't get ahead of yourself.
No, well, Sonia actually comes from her whole family has come from a chain of owning restaurants and stuff. So Sonia's
that's awesome,
an incredible cook, but Audrey is next level with her recipes. Oh my God. She Daniel's like, oh, is this out of your recipe book? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, you didn't create this. I'm like, no, it's Audrey's. He's like, I knew it. I'm like,
yeah, it's amazing.
But yeah, probably our pasta dishes, because me, Sonia and Audrey are all Italian. Yeah. So a lot of our meals are Italian meals because that's what we're brought up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably parts of pasta, our pizza, our souvlakis. Burgers used to be, but it's not so much anymore.
And they're meals that like kids will love as well.
Yeah. They're kid friendly, family friendly. Your husband will love them, partner will love them as well.
Yeah. In the first 2 weeks of any client joining, we actually give them written guidance in their meal plans about what to add on for your kids and family. Yeah. So this is your meal, cook exactly the same, but this is what we want you to do for hubby and the kids.
That's
just so they get the idea.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's such a good idea. All right.
Should we get into our rapid fire?
Let's do that. We could definitely go on with a tangent with you, Vanessa.
I know. So with these rapid fire, you haven't seen these yet, but usually how this works is me and Kayla will ask you some questions.
Yeah.
And it's whatever comes to your head first. That's kind of what you roll off the bat. All right, you ready? I think there's about 17 of them. So let's go. You've probably already answered half of them, but let's start it off. So what are you currently craving in this pregnancy?
Peppermint ice cream.
Peppermint ice cream.
Like choc mint specifically.
Did you like it beforehand?
No, like there's one on Nidri opposite the store, and they're all gluten free. And because I am gluten intolerant, like they generally sit well, but like I'm not gonna lie, like friggin' peppermint, choc mint, peppermint, any ice cream.
It's elite.
The Panna Organic's been really
yeah, that's a great brand.
Yeah, I love it.
All right, so morning sickness, you've described that. Are you going to go scale of 1 to 10?
Oh, far out. Like I know, like I shouldn't even make a joke, but the PTSD from when I was a kid, I was like, fuck, I've got PTSD from that 14 weeks of my life.
So scale of 1 to 10, 100?
Yeah.
Yeah, gorgeous. Favorite thing to do whilst pregnant that you wouldn't usually do outside of pregnancy?
Favorite thing to guys, I didn't enjoy being pregnant. I know that sounds really bad, but I don't.
A lot of people don't.
Favorite thing to do while I'm pregnant? It's not a favorite thing. It's probably grateful to be training. And I think my favorite thing to do was I'm pregnant. You see how can push that where Belle's going to kill me. I'm like, I can go up a little bit more in the weight. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, he's moved. Yeah. Put the weight down. Yeah. No. Just favorite thing to do while I'm pregnant is challenge myself.
Yeah. Love that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What is your favorite thing to do? Something that you love about being a mum?
Something, oh my God, this I never even think about being a mum.
What do you love the most about being a mum?
Oh, there's a lot to that. I'm really proud of Melania, and she's just a very kind soul. And sometimes I look at her, I'm like, are you that nice? Are you really my child? I love feeling, favorite thing I love about being a mum is feeling proud every day of her.
Oh, I love that. Something you wish someone had told you before you're a mum?
You will have a breakdown and it's going to be okay. And the breakdown's going to go for a very long time. You're going to lose yourself.
Yeah. But you will again find yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. 3 tips you have for busy mamas out there who want to take control of their health and fitness.
Let one bad day be one bad day and move on. Number 1, that's my biggest tip. Number 2 is sit down and talk to your partner and your support circle and share with them your goals, because they will support, because they love you and want to see you happy. And number 3 is your trust in the right experts. Stop looking for the quick.
Yeah, love it. You kind of answered this one before, so we'll just go to this one. Your favorite family outing, or your favorite family outing or activity that is active.
That is active. We like going for walks. It's gone a little bit harder, but we do generally love going for walks.
Yeah.
Something that you wish you did more of in your previous pregnancy.
Something that I wish I did, actually meal prep and actually get myself together from a nutrition perspective, because I put on 22 kilos with Melania, and it was because I was not taking care of myself from a
You just kind of were like overindulging in food.
Yeah, and I didn't have a coach at the time, so I didn't have any sort of accountability. So the best thing I did was
eat.
The best thing I did in this one was be like, Belle, you're not going anywhere. Because I think she even notices like a lot of people drop off the minute they fall pregnant, where I was like, oh, Belle, I'm pregnant. Yeah, also as well. Do you reckon you can get me on stage in 2025?
Yeah. We got a long journey ahead.
Yeah. Do you find it hard to hit your protein goal while pregnant?
No, because I just follow the meal. I have a meal plan that gets set out every week by my coach, who I trust. People, that's key. Trust your coach.
Yeah.
And I follow that. And if I'm not following the meal plan exactly, and I'm flexible, like on the weekends and stuff, I just prioritize my protein and my carbohydrates at this time, because my body really needs.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. How do you exercise whilst pregnant? Or hang on. How do you exercise when you're pregnant versus when you're not pregnant?
We're struggling today.
We are. We're battling.
No, I still follow I'm still training exactly the same. Surprisingly, because my estrogen is sitting so high, and Belle and I were talking about this the other day, I've actually been able to drive the weight up a lot harder. And I'm also a little bit heavier, so I'm able to push a little bit more. I'm just a lot more conscious, and I just can't train for as long as what I used to, because I was getting really fatigued when I was doing like 4 sets of everything. Yeah,
that's interesting, because if you're already a fit mum, like if you're already fit before you're pregnant, when you actually are pregnant, you can pretty much train as you would. There's not too many things that you need to be.
And your OB will tell you that. Your OB will tell you that. I mean, anyone that's just fallen pregnant and hasn't trained for the last 12 months or 6 months or 3 months, you're not all of a sudden going to start training. That would be not the right direction to go in. But if you have been training, keep doing what you're doing, but just run everything past your obstetrician. Your obstetricians, however, are a little bit more cautious. So I'm pretty sure if my OB saw me in the gym right now, she would fall over and die and be like, no. And she's like really strict as well. She'd have a heart attack.
Yeah.
But I know my limits. I know what I'm capable of.
Yeah. In terms of supplements, what's a must-have nutrient, prenatal nutrition?
Yeah, good one. So before I say these, and I get asked this every single day on the gram, anything that I say, don't just go and buy it. Ask your OB first and get it signed off. So Thorn Prenatal is probably the top one you want to be looking at, alongside with the Thorn Magnesium Biglycinate. That's another one. In terms of, I'm really big on collagen.
Yep.
Really big on collagen. So 2 products I've been taking is the GHK from Welltech and the Complete Collagen Protein from Welltech. And these all got signed off by my OB, but every OB is different. And then the Everyday Health from Primer Biolics, that's actually a hands down must for me.
Yeah. I take that every day.
Yeah.
I got Georgia onto the Everyday
It's so
Health
good.
thing.
I reckon that's the best greens I've ever had.
Yeah. And it's just because it has your basic multivitamins, which I know that the Thorn Prenatal does. However, what I do like about the Everyday Health is it's got your respiratory support from a NAC perspective. It's also got 300 milligrams of magnesium biglycinate in it as well. So it's just really, really, overall, I think it's a really good everyday wellness formula. I also found, ladies, it helped with the morning sickness.
Did it?
Really?
Immensely helped with the sickness.
Hang on, which one?
The Everyday Health.
The Everyday Health.
Yeah. I was having it, like, I was actually putting it in ice cube trays.
Okay, yeah.
And putting it in the ice cube, and I was just having these all day, like
sucking on them.
Sucking on them, yeah.
Wow, okay,
That's
there you
crazy.
go.
What's in the formula of the Thorn Prenatal?
It's got all your basic vitamins that they generally test on. They generally test on when you're pregnant. But it just lacks, like, it doesn't have a high milligram of iron, so it just lacks that, which most pregnant people are so sufficiently down in iron. That's the only thing that I don't think that it has enough of. But it's got just pretty much your basics of what you need. And I think it's got a good quantity of, like, fish oil in it as well. But I'm taking other stuff with Thorn from that perspective too. And you got to just get your blood, when your OB does your blood work, they'll tell you what your you're down in, and you got to specifically tailor your supplements to that. And guys, don't go to the chemist and buy herbs of gold.
Yeah, no
off
chance.
the supermarket shelf.
Go to Nutrition Capital.
Get your isolated supplements and stick with your pharmaceutical ranges like Thorn.
Yeah.
And I'll say bioceuticals, which we don't stock at NC, but stick with your pharmaceutical range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Amazing. I'm going to go to the one underneath. Breastfeeding, yay or nay?
I breastfed Melania exclusively for 14 months. However, like birth, I don't do birthing plans. My OB asked me the other day, she's like, what's your birthing plan? I'm like, I walk in, lay down, you pull baby out.
Yeah,
Right?
that's it.
No fancy dancy music, none of that. I don't want to do any yoga, right? I want to walk in and get shit done.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's same with feeding. Like, I don't care. At that time, you feed your baby however your baby needs to be fed to be kept satisfied. And I see this all the time with girlfriends. They come to me because they know I had great success with breastfeeding Melania. I know I need to breastfeed. They're so hard on themselves. Hey, your kid's screaming. Feed your kid. Whether it's through the boob, whether it's through formula, nothing is worse than a screaming, hungry baby. Just feed the kid.
Yeah.
So formula wouldn't be on the shelves in Australia if it was so bad. But ideally for me, if I can breastfeed, I will. If I can't, I can't.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I don't think too much.
Yeah.
No,
that's how everyone should be.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Your favorite self-care activity that is completely dedicated to you.
Oh, guys, if you see on my socials, I've got a whole gym at my house and I love walking in there and shutting the door, and I've just decked out a whole new one. It's like amazing. I walk in there and I'm like, I'm home.
Oh, what a
And
feeling.
I close the door. Have movement. When I'm training, I do my best thinking, and I also do a lot of self-reflection.
Yeah.
A lot of self-reflection, and it's my time to the point where if I see an eyeball out a window looking,
Forget it.
I'm like, stop running.
Yeah.
Don't even look at me. It's my time. No.
Yeah.
How long do you train for? How long do you allocate for your day of your me time?
But anywhere between 45 to an hour. Yep.
Yeah. Cool. All right. And our lucky last one. Georgia, you want to take it away?
Sure. What is your favorite success story of a mum you've coached, and what key takeaways can other mums learn from her journey?
Oh my God, I've got so bloody many. So many.
The first one that comes to your mind.
What's
There's
the
so
very
many
what's the
flashing.
very first one that you had? Let's do that one.
The very first one was that I know we spoke about IVF. I had a mum go through 2 rounds of IVF. It's really expensive, yeah. 2 rounds of IVF with no success. And she wasn't a mum at the time. She was wanting to become a mum. And was also over the age of 40.
Mm-hmm.
So she'd been trying IVF and fell pregnant. Program. 2 kids. And
Both naturally.
yeah.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
that.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that was one of the ones, and I just remember doing the call with her, and she was sobbing so much after her 13-week check, because that's the main one where you sort of get the relief there. Okay.
Yeah.
And she was sobbing to the point where she couldn't breathe, and I was like, she lost it. Oh my God, and nothing's worse than that feeling, yeah? I'm like, my heart was in my stomach, and she was like, I can't thank you enough. Can't thank you enough. Can't thank you enough. I'm like, get the fuck off the phone to me and bring your family. This is so good.
Oh, so you're the very, very first person.
No, her husband knew, and her mum and dad knew, but it's like when you get to 13 weeks, it's safe to tell everybody.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm like, do your friends know, whatever? And she's like, no. And she was sobbing so much. I couldn't understand what she was saying. And she's like, we did it.
Oh,
So that was
feeling.
probably a big one for me. But these success, I've happily been a coach to over 1,200 women in the last 20 months.
Have you?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's been.
That's so exciting.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Should we finish with the last question, which is, this podcast is obviously Evolve to Thrive. How can people, or what can people implement in their everyday life to thrive or evolve to thrive?
What can they implement? I think more self-gratitude, self-acceptance, that you have a reflection on how tough times have, that having that mentality, your outlook on your day. And
100%.
Yeah. I love that.
That's definitely something I need to implement every day, just to slow down, be more grateful for what you have, just the simple things even.
The little things.
Yeah.
The little things.
yeah, and start to just accept and appreciate the shit times as well.
Yeah.
Because if you constantly have just got your head in the sand going, fuck, I've been battered, fuck, I've been through a lot, and you're sitting there, and I know, like, you know, I don't like to say don't feel sorry for yourself, no, but if you can, you know, the bad times have you down to an absolute point, no recovery,
No point of return.
no point of return, and you consistently are telling yourself that, then that's what you believe. When really those bad times can shape, be the person like me, an unstoppable woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I love
so that's
that.
how you can be an unstoppable woman, is appreciate and self-accept and use your challenges as an opportunity to grow.
100%.
100%.
I
Is there
like
anything else you want to add?
No, I don't know. I think I was like, I don't know if that went in the direction that I thought it was going to. But I was like, yeah, I don't know.
I love that.
No, it was
everything
great.
that you touched
It
on
was
was
great.
amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even know half the stuff that you'd been through, and just listening to the way you explained it was amazing. Like, I feel like there's going to be so many people that are going to relate to it.
Yeah.
And so many people that you're going to be able to help as well.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you guys will have me back after baby.
Yes, we'd love to.
And we can talk a little bit more about my postnatal journey.
Absolutely. Yeah, we would love that.
We will definitely do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But it's been, so wonderful to have you on to talk about all of this. And lastly, I should say, where can the listeners find you?
Yep. So on the gram is dvp.fitness. And on same with Facebook and website www.dvp.com.au. I know a lot of people are like, when are you finishing up at Nutrition Capital? For now, guys, I'm at the Essendon store every Monday for any more specialized supplement help. So you can come visit me there. If you can't make it down, just DM me and we'll schedule in a call. And yeah, that's where you can find me.
Are you on TikTok or YouTube or anything?
No, we haven't quite. We explored TikTok and I was like, shit, I'm shocking. I just like watching other people.
Yeah.
No, I haven't. Melania's dying for mummy to do a TikTok. She's obsessed. I'm like, well, honey, you can do it.
Maybe you could do one together and that's how you can start.
Melania's very popular.
Is she?
Yeah. Melania's very popular on the gram.
I love that.
Yeah, everyone loves her. Everyone always asks for her. I've had to kind of wean her a little bit back with it.
Pull back, Melania.
Yeah, no, we had to wean her a little bit back because, some people can say nasty things, and I don't care. Say nasty things about me or have a go at me, not my kid.
Yeah. Have you had that?
Funnily enough, like more so in the last 6 months, yes. And I think that's because my socials have grown so fast. But 99.9% of people are beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful,
of course.
Absolutely beautiful. But you get that 0.1% that have said quite nasty stuff about my child. And I just don't want to have this baby in jail.
Yeah.
So best that we just
Yeah. Absolutely.
Definitely don't want that, eh?
Yeah.
No, you've handled it all really, really, really well. And you're very, very freaking courageous, must I say.
And inspirational.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. I love the way you handle yourself.
Yeah.
You're very welcome. All right. Well, I think that's a wrap. If you loved this episode, be sure to share it and tag all of us. And like always, we love hearing from you. And I think that's it.
That's it. Check the show notes, I guess, to try and connect with Vanessa if you wish. And we will be back
See you
next week.
Thank you, guys.